Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the final part of the Streets of Rage commentary. Yeah, it's time for a little bit of a difference, and first of all, we're playing as Adam Hunter, one of our many playable characters, and as you can see here, the controls are kind of similar yet different to what you've pretty much already seen throughout the game. Although there are a few vestigial differences. I mean, for example, as I mentioned in the commentary, Adam's range of punch and kicks are much more extended than what you would have seen with Blaze, and he doesn't move quite as quick, but at the same time, he's still pretty speedy on his feet, and again, as I mentioned before, I do still think that Adam is, one of the best characters to play as, really. Unfortunately, though, apart from that, not much really changes. I mean, again, you're still fighting the same sort of enemies, they still have the same sort of patterns, and even Adam falters to the Blaze twins. And, yeah, as you probably no doubt tell, by the fact that I'm so lonely, yeah, this isn't technically a two-player run, but, it is kind of necessary to play this mode because you do get the non-canon, ending. But, I mean, regardless of such. So, yeah, and this is also sort of what I was talking about. I don't know why, the Blaze twin is targeting, well, her twin, but, yeah, as you can tell, when you don't have, the Blaze sister on the same axis, it's kind of a bit pished to try and get at her. Well, then again, I had, a dummy target sort of distracting her, but whatever. This is where the choice comes in that I mentioned all the way back in, the early parts. Again, you pretty much have, a choice, as you had with Blaze. Again, you can either choose to join Mr. X, or you could just say, fuck you, and kick his ass. Unfortunately, though, the only way to get the bad ending here is basically to have one player say yes, one player say no, and then it's after working together as a team for so long, you part ways. Now fight to the death! And, yeah, I'm also cutting this down for time because, well, Blaze has a lot of lives, and, again, you're pretty much fighting the player based on how many continues they have, and, well, oh my god, she's invincible! But yeah, you gotta whittle down their lives, and again, this is pretty much where you and the other player would pretty much have a test of skill, and, you know, see how one another would, you know, combat each other and kick ass, and, it's basically a test to see who will join Mr. X or who will take over his empire. But again, that's all to do with the choice that you're going to be seeing after Blaze has been defeated. And yes, their continues do still apply, so yeah, either choose to end it or continue, and fight to the death. Again, if you choose to join Mr. X here, he pretty much sends you back to, you know, level 6, as I mentioned previously. So yeah, basically just say no, and this is pretty much where the dialogue changes. You're an evil man. I would never have expected this from you. Die, traitor. And then he pretty much goes back to his same line, which is kind of redundant since you've already... whatever. I guess I didn't really think that far ahead. By the way, and again, as I mentioned before, that dialogue doesn't change when you're playing as Blaze either, so yes, Mr. X will call her an evil man, which either says a few things about Blaze, or this is the most progressive game I've ever played in my life. But I mean, on a serious note though, this is pretty much how you achieve the bad ending. You pretty much do the exact same things, kick a few goons' asses, defeat Mr. X, and you'll pretty much take over his empire. You don't really get to see the fruits of your labors, and to kind of talk a little bit about the ending schema, I kind of wish there was a third ending where you could team up with Mr. X and see the city in ruins and, I don't know, have a look at a city on fire maybe? I don't know, I mean, you didn't really need to do much, you just needed a ending screen with, you know, standing atop the ruins of a city. I don't know. I think it would have sealed the deal for me, but... regardless of such, you do also get this ending, which, well, it's the bad ending, so obviously they're not gonna reward you for doing so that much, but, yeah. It's not really much apart from having a different ending credits theme and, well, a scant bit of victory, really. I mean, it is cool that they do have this here, but, I don't know, the way in which you have to unlock it is very out of the way unless of course you have a buddy playing with you, and even in that case, I think games like Streets of Rage 3 tend to do the whole diverging pathways thing a little bit better, because in Streets of Rage 3 you at the very least have a different final level depending on the outcomes you choose during the gameplay, and Streets of Rage 2 is pretty much just a very sober kind of affair. But regardless, Mr. X is defeated, and now Adam Hunter has betrayed his friends and decided to take over the Empire for himself. Yes, indeed. The Hunter Empire. You gotta love it. Actually, I think now this kind of explains why Mr. X wanted to have Adam taken out and kidnapped for trying to take over his empire. See, we ended it with bad. You became the boss. You are great. Exclamation point. Also, I do really love this ending theme. It's actually quite, I don't know. It's pretty cool, and I think it also got a remix in Streets of Rage 3 as part of the end credits theme for that thing. Well, I mean, then again, that's really no difference with Yuzo Koshiro, because he does quite a lot of remixes, actually, of his own work. But anyway, that's pretty much the bad ending. Adam's sitting on the throne, looking like he really wants to scratch his balls, and, well, there is no accounting for taste. And that's pretty much it, and by proxy, the end of the Streets of Rage commentary. Like, I mean, overall, I do really love this game. It's a very basic sort of beat-em-up, but at the same time, it's also very well, produced. Like, I mean, again, the difficulty curve is quite natural. There are a few moments of bullshit. I think the enemy reusal in terms of bosses, like having 2 Freddy Kruegers or anything like that, is kind of pish, but I mean, apart from that, it's a very achievable sort of challenge that I think anybody of any generation could easily adapt to. Again, it's simple, and definitely lacks a lot of the nuances that future Streets of Rage games would have, but at the same time, there's no knock on a solid game, and I think Streets of Rage 1 has a lot of great aspects about it. I mean, it is also one of the more sober games in the series. Like, I mean, it is very much just, you know, boots on the ground, street brawling, and that's pretty much all she wrote, really. But, yeah, that's pretty much the end of the game. You don't really get anything else after the bad ending either. Like, I mean, the most that really happens is, like, Adam laughs, and that's pretty much it. And then you'll pretty much have an end credits thing saying, bad end. Oh no, wait, we still have one thing more. I was going to impersonate the laughter, but we still have some mores. And now you at least get to see the entirety of the end credits rather than close-up stills, because this is pretty much all you have. Yeah, that's your bad ending, folks. Bad end. Like it just came out of some fucking visual novel or some shit. Yeah, but anyway, I do plan on covering the other Streets of Rage games at some point in the future, so again, stay tuned for those in the coming years. And as for anything else, if it's not already running alongside this, then yeah, Sonic 3D Blast, and right after that will be Kingdom Hearts 2. Which is currently in the process of being recorded, but I do have a fair amount of footage for what I should need, so yeah, that should be going alright for the time being. But I mean, apart from that, haven't really thought that far ahead. I don't know. Streets of Rage was kind of a bit spur-of-the-moment commentary, similar to Revenge of the Sith, but I don't know. I do really enjoy this game, and I wanted to share it with you. Also, I really love this song, that's kind of why I let it play as long as I did. But, anyway, what you don't see is Mr. X sneaking up behind Adam, knocking him out, and taking him hostage. Thus sets up the events of Streets of Rage 2. / Bare Knuckle 2. / whatevers. Anyway, on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and, see you to that next time for future commentaries. Bye-bye.